The Tuesday, September 12, 2023 special meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For this meeting, there is a quorum of the City Council present. Item number 2, persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person and present factual information. Claims against the city council members or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the citizens forum. If necessary, the city council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. If there is anyone who wishes to address the council, please state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, the citizen forum is now closed. Item number 3, discuss and ratify the property tax increase reflected in the budget as required by Chapter 26 of the Texas Tax Code. Staff?
Mayor, City Council, under the Local Government Code, Section 102.007C, the City Council is required to ratify the property tax increase that was approved in the budget yesterday at its council meeting. This vote's required in addition to the vote to adopt the budget, in addition to the vote to adopt the tax rate. The purpose simply being just to ensure that the council knows that when it adopts this tax rate, that we will be raising more property taxes than we had last year, but it is necessary to fund the budget that was approved yesterday. So we just need a motion acknowledging the fact that the property taxes will be going up.
Is there any other discussion? Want to hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry, we need a roll call vote on this.
You do on the tax rate.
I have jumped ahead. I am so sorry.
Hey, I was hanging in there.
You were doing it perfectly.
So we have a second.
Clayton.
Clayton, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 4.
Okay.
This-
Mayor and City Council, last night
Can I read
City...
that, Mr. Can I read that first? Item number
Oh, okay, sorry. Russian.
Item number 4, discuss and act on the ordinance fixing the tax rate and tax levy and levying in Altaverum, Texas of the City of Paris for the year 2023 upon all taxable property within the City of Paris in the conformity in the chapter provisions ordinances of the city. Staff.
Okay, sorry, Mayor.
That's okay, sir.
The City Council adopted the 23-24 budget, and it now must adopt a property tax rate sufficient to fund that budget. The total tax rate will be .47782 per $100 evaluation, with .32176 going to operations and maintenance, and .15606 is the debt rate. This rate will produce $8,030,000 for operations and maintenance, which is the same amount, or well, it's the third year in a row that we've had that amount of taxes raised for O&M, and $3,781,948 for the debt service payments. And there's a ordinance in your packet that we are requesting that you approve tonight.
Pursuant to law, it is required that each council member cast an individual voice vote, and we must have 5 affirmative voices to pass the tax rate. Is there any further discussion?
Can we go for the record there? O&M, we're staying flat. That's 3 years running, correct?
Yes.
So the tax levy on operations and operations and maintenance is $8,030,000, correct?
Right.
Thank you.
I will ask for a motion and a second.
Mayor, I need to individually call.
I'll follow.
Okay, did you have the language for the motion?
He just read it and said that we're going to be doing an individual
There's
vote
the language, the motion has to be made.
pursuant to the law, to the statute that he just said.
I hadn't read it yet.
I'm sorry. We're all ahead.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
All right. And then Ms. Ellis will take a vote of each individual council member.
Okay, Mayor Hughes.
Aye.
Councilmember Moore. Councilmember Savage.
Aye.
Councilmember Norman.
Aye.
Councilmember Pilgrim.
Aye.
Councilmember Kessel.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries 6-0. Item number 5, receive presentations from nonprofit agencies requesting funding for the public purpose. Rank agencies for the priority, discuss and act on requests. Mr. Vine.
Mayor and members of council, good evening. It's that time of year
Evening.
again, and tonight we will be receiving presentations from local nonprofit organizations that have applied to be part of the nonprofit assistance program for this upcoming fiscal year 23-24. July, the council voted to make these mandatory this year. In Excel, you all have pages in front of you. There's 3 pages. If we look at these, the first page has all of the organization and pertinent information on them. Page 2 has the same organizations and then has different options, A through F, if you were to choose one of those or none. We will also have a scoring sheet as well. And then page 3 talks about those different options. The reason those options were presented is an effort to save you from doing long division in math during the council meeting. The dollar amount budgeted for this program is $100,000. The total amount requested by these 12 applying organizations is $155,000, so some work will have to be completed, determined by you to determine how do we get down to that budgeted line item. After the presentations that you'll have tonight that are limited again to 3 minutes, council will have the opportunity to rank each organization on your scoring sheet. On this scoring sheet, you rank organization with the number system. Number 1 is indicating the highest priority, with number 12 being the lowest priority. And the organization with the lowest score will be considered the first to receive funding. And the organization with the highest score will be considered, obviously, the last to receive funding. And after those are turned in, staff will tabulate this form, and the organizations will be ranked and given back to you for announcement. We've already gone through the handout. If there are no questions on that, there are 3, if you look at the first page, there are 3 organizations that are considered not eligible because they turned in their report late after the due date. However, per the policy states that even those organizations will be presented to you. So it is your decision, your choice, if you consider them eligible or not. If there are no specific questions, the mayor has a ranking sheet as far as the presentation. It's in alphabetical order, as will the presentations be tonight. And if unless there are no questions, I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vine. Boys and Girls Club of Red River Valley.
Thank you for your time. Every day, 150 kids get on a bus and come to the Boys and Girls Club. When they step off, something special happens. They have a place to go where caring adults are making sure they're in a safe environment, giving them opportunities they wouldn't normally receive. It is something that really is important to the community. For every dollar invested in the Boys and Girls Clubs or quality after-school programs, it saves municipal $3. That's research that's been well documented. That's the money side of it. From a personal side, those kids do need somewhere to be. They do need someone taking care of them. We have first graders, second graders, third graders getting off the bus who would otherwise go home to empty homes and waiting for parents to come by. So obviously what we do is critical. We're passionate about it, and obviously it's an important part of this community that we take very seriously. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
How many of you folks are on boards of directors for any of these organizations? Okay. I don't think that you need to recuse yourselves for the presentations, but there's some issues with voting on the organization on whose board you are a member. Let me sit here and figure out how that's going to work, since this is a ranking system. I'm not sure how, I was not at that meeting last year, and I'm not sure how that worked out last year. I know some of you recused yourselves, but I don't know how that worked on the rankings, so.
For clarification, if we
I'm trying to
do
remember.
A through D, would that apply or would that not apply?
Why don't y'all hear the presentations as a council, and I will figure this out.
CASA for Kids, Inc.
Hello, thank y'all. I'm Clint Hokart, I'm the Director of CASA for Kids. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates, and we're the agency that advocate for children in their child welfare cases. We're really proud this year that we were able to reboot our parenting classes with the money that y'all gave us last year. We bought some new curriculum, and we've given over 100 face-to-face classes here in Paris, Texas alone, and we've had a lot of parents complete those. And so that's kind of our biggest flex, that we're preventing some child abuse before it happens. And that's in part thanks to the city, so thank you all. We're also recruiting some new foster homes. We don't have very many in Lamar County. And through the help of the United Way grant and through the city, we're able to start doing that so we can help kids that are abused and neglected in our community have a safe and permanent home. So we're asking for a little bit more money than we did last year, and that's because we are growing our organization and trying to provide more services. So does anybody have any questions about what we do, or?
No, sir. Any questions?
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
They doing good.
Okay. Children Advocacy Center? No. Okay, City Square?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council Member, and City staff. My name is Rochelle. I'm the new ED at City Square here in Paris. It is our request again this year to seek support and funding for utilities provided free of charge to anyone who enter our door seeking assistance. Like all utilities, cost has increased. Our projected combined utilities are $33,420 for the fiscal year 2023. Your generous grant last year provided 37% of our projected utilities bills from October 22 through August 2023 to serve our neighbors, and we are grateful. Thank you for partnering with us and allowing us to provide a cool place in the summer and warm facilities in the winter to serve the homeless, those living in poverty, and those that's just down our luck. Here are some exceptional figures to explain the growth of our program throughout the year. Since 2017, City Square Paris have served the community well in its effort to fight the cause of effort of poverty through service, advocacy, and friendship. Through it all, communities never stops, and City Square continues to step up when unique needs rise and serve those in need. I have the statistic for 2022 if you like. Thus far in 2023, we have served 1,486 families, had 1,355 showers taken, 526 loads of laundry done, and over 10,464 pieces of clothing given away, and almost 10,113 meals served, breakfast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We also offer neighbor support system for people that are listening for further assistance. At this rate, we are well beyond our last year record. Since we visited last year, we have been blessed with several grants. One in particular provided us the opportunity to provide fellow members, neighbors, with bicycles, giving them adequate transportation to allow them to seek further employment. We are in the process of a 41,000 HVAC replacement of the church and gym building, showing our long-term commitment to our campus and serving those in need. We also house kids from our teen program with the connection of Paris ISD. We have hosted events from 32 different nonprofit and community organizations in our facility, including City of Paris Summer Camp, where we had 179 children in attendance, Young Life, Girl Scout, Lamar County Community Council, and Community Services, and several other. With the help of over 80 volunteers, we prepared 300 Thanksgiving and Christmas meals throughout the community. We have continued our senior bingo monthly again this year with 30-plus participants, and our mentee program with Paris ISD is underway. Our community has been very supportive in that effort, with over 30 members, volunteers coming to assist, such as cleaning up, sorting clothes, and serving meals, and have an impact on our neighbor. Today, we are asking you to continue to join us in fighting poverty in Paris and Lamar County with your financial donation to help with our utility bills. And we welcome you to volunteer with us or simply just share its own. Life change, but our mission does not, but the mission does not, because community never stops.
Thank you. Downtown Food Pantry.
Hello, council members. I'm Alan Hubbard, the executive director. We are a grocery store style pantry. We've been in existence since 2009 and in our existing location since 2011. And we provide groceries to 20% of the Lamar County population at least 3 times on an annual basis. That represents just shy of 11,000 people in about 4,600 households. We're a partner agency with the North Texas Food Bank, which is the majority of our food comes from, but we do purchase from other vendors things that we can't get from the North Texas Food Bank. And so we spend it to the tune, and what we requested from you for this allotment was about $15,000. That is 1 month's worth of milk and bread that we provide to all the families that come through. That's about 750 to 800 families every week. We just served today, and we served 375 families just today. And so the majority of our residents or our clients are residents of the city and either pay taxes directly as homeowners to the city or indirectly through their landlords as they pay rent. And so we would appreciate you supporting us by helping us pay basically 1 month of milk and bread for those folks that come see us. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks. East Texas Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse.
Mayor and council, I appreciate y'all seeing me today. I'm a new face. I'm the new CEO for EDCATA. We make it simple so you don't have to read out that entire set of words anymore. But I'm sure that you've heard from Linda Oyer in the past and you know what we do. But one of the things that I'm going to ask you today is, while we're keeping our ask very small from the funding perspective that we have each year, my bigger ask outside of the licensed dependency counselors that we do support Lamar County as well as the city of Paris with is help getting into the school systems. We have a wonderful prevention program that we go into the schools and we educate our youth in the mental health aspect. It's not a drug and alcohol program. It is a curriculum-based program. I'd like to have not only the financial support, but any insight that you can get to help us get into that schools. We do K through 12, and we'd love to bring that program in addition to our counseling services, our recovery support services, and our tobacco compliance checks, which we already do up here. So that's our ask today, and I'd love to give some time for questions if you have any for that.
Any questions? Thanks, sir.
All right, thanks.
Keep Paris beautiful, make Lamar County shine.
Thank you for using the whole name.
Oh, yeah, I was going to.
Yeah, very good. Good evening. My name is Julia Trigg Crawford. I'm here representing a great local organization, Keep Paris Beautiful, Make Lamar County Shine. We have had 24 years in this community, and you guys are probably aware of a lot of things that we've done. I don't take credit for it. It happened way before I got involved. But the crepe myrtles around the loop, the beautiful trail, trees that are given away for free in January, and we've really turned things up the last couple of years with pollinator conferences and seed giveaways and electronics recycling and tree trimming workshops downtown. We are currently planning, in tandem with the United Way, a November 4th fall sweep program in West Paris to pick out some neighborhoods where we can go in and rake and mow and help those individuals. It's a perfect complement to the town halls that y'all are holding. We want those guys in West Paris to know we care, and we want to help them out, give them a voice, and give them an opportunity to help us clean up their yards when they can't do it. So we come to you this year with a great, successful event in our hip pocket. On April the 15th, in tandem with the city, Keep Paris Beautiful had a Don't Mess with Paris, Texas trash off. We had hoped we might get 100 folks. Push goal was 150, so that's how many T-shirts we had. We had almost 250 people. We had families, we had Team Supreme, we had churches, we had Girl Scout troops, we had local businesses, all there with a grabber and a T-shirt and a safety vest, and the want to clean up. So this was more than just picking up trash. This was an opportunity for people to come together, kind of foster that community spirit, take pride in your neighborhood. And we're asking you for $5,000 for this next year to fund that same program and let us build it even bigger. $5,000 won't cover it if we give everybody a shirt and a grabber and a vest and lunch and the appreciation that they came. We partnered with the city this year, a former Mayor Portugal, Rob Vine, Ed Wayne Samus and Robert Talley were instrumental in helping do that. Keep Paris Beautiful thinks we can make it even bigger this year, so we hope you'll consider giving us some money, and we will do you proud, and we will help instill that community pride that we're all working toward. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Lamar County Human Resources Council, Inc.
Good evening. I am Shelley Brazil. I'm the Executive Director of the Human Resources Council. We manage two big programs that the city has funded in the past few years, and that is Meals on Wheels and Horizon House Transitional Shelter. So with Meals on Wheels, we are providing meals to over 900 seniors, disabled individuals, and veterans, with over 400 of those being in or right near the city limits of Paris, Texas. We also have two senior centers in Paris. We have the Shakota Center and the Washington Center, where not only can our individuals that are 60 and older come and get a meal, but they also get social interaction. Senior suicide is a big issue in our country. Social isolation is a big leading factor of that. And so these senior centers, as well as our staff, volunteers, going out to these clients' homes and checking on them and doing well checks, that makes a huge difference in their lives. And in many cases, our staff and volunteers are the only people that they see in a day, in a week, in a month, and sometimes even more than that. So this program is very crucial to the city of Paris. In addition, we also manage Horizon House Transitional Shelter. A transitional shelter is a program in which a client, a man, woman, or a family with children can stay with us for up to 2 years. And they have to work while they're there or be disabled or seeking work. They also have to do 20 hours of volunteer work every single week. We make sure that they understand that if the community is giving to them and providing them the help that they need, that they are giving back to the community, so they volunteer at local nonprofits and events and things like that. So it's a great program. We also provide lots of programming in-house for those clients, including anger management, life skills. We have a cooking class. We do a number of things for them because the idea is that when they go back out into the community, that they are ready for that. They can afford their own bills, and they are not going to have a repeat occurrence and come back in. Before I close, I do want to mention that we were one of the organizations that was late on our end of the year report, and we did have a change in staffing during that time, and that information was sent to the wrong email. Once we found out, we did turn that in and rectified that, but I do extend my sincerest apologies for our failure to submit that timely. Thank you.
Lamar County Humane Association, sorry.
Thank you, Council and Mayor. My name is Keith Flowers. I'm the Board President of Lamar County Humane Association. I've got Leandra Mahan, our Vice President, Dr. Wally Kraft, and Dr. James O'Brien, two vets that we work closely with. We partner with the city in providing vet care for animals that come into the shelter, adopting animals out of the shelter and everything, but we're here to asking for $15,000 funding for the SNP program. The SNP program is spay and neuter in Paris. It is actually a program that was started by the late Sue Lancaster, who was Mayor Pro Tem at the time, and Dr. Wally Kraft. It was their brainchild. It was started over a decade ago, and we have continued it. And basically what it is, we have 4 what we call SNP clinics a year. We typically go to the fairgrounds and we offer low-cost rabies vaccines, other vaccines, and a dog or cat owner can pay $30 and buy a voucher to go to one of these guys and get their dog spayed or neutered. Dogs or cats spayed or neutered. This is a tremendous cost savings for the citizens, and also it helps us, it helps the city, because animal control doesn't have to go out and pick up these animals. These animals don't come through the shelter. These are not animals that we have to euthanize. To date, this year, we've done 407 spay and neuter surgeries. We've got one more SNP event planned, so we'll be close to 600 by the time this year is over. We've spent roughly $29,000. And when this program was started, it was entirely funded by the city. We've had to pick up funding because we don't want to turn anybody away. We want to make this available for everybody because we feel it's a very, very important program for the health and safety of the citizens, for the animal shelter, for our goal. I'm going to turn it over to the vets and let them kind of talk about it.
Two things I can tell you. Number one, when they do come in to get spayed and neutered, they get a rabies shot for sure, okay? That's a real problem here right now. Y'all probably don't know this, but we've had 3 cases of rabies in the Lamar County area in the last month, okay? So it's a serious problem, and we think we sure need to get everything vaccinated that we possibly can. The other thing is the SNPs program, our expense to us as veterinarians has not gone up now in over 15 years. We still pay them for the same price we did before. And it is a volunteer thing for me, but I'm one of these people who honestly feels like I need to give back something to the community. So the SNPs program is one of the things that we can do. We do a lot of people that are low-income people. We do a lot of people that cannot afford to have their animals spayed without having this program. And I can tell you, Mr. Flowers does a wonderful job of screening these people. They don't walk in the front door and get a voucher if they work at McChristian Hospital and are hospital administrator, okay? That isn't what happens, okay? But anyway, I can tell you it's an excellent program. We've really cut down on the number of puppies that we see in the city and the number of kittens that we see. And it's been a really good program, and we would appreciate this help again this year. James?
I'll make it brief. Thanks for allowing us to speak. To pull on your heartstrings a little bit, there's nothing more painful than having to euthanize a healthy kitten or puppy just because they don't have a home. And it wears on the animal control officers, and I'm speaking on their behalf. It wears on them emotionally, physically, mentally. So digest that for a little bit. It's hard, and we can stop that just by spaying and neutering. Okay, and this program helps a lot. To elaborate on what Dr. Kraft said, we haven't changed the price. We're eating a lot of the price and absorbing it ourselves into our own pockets. We don't mind doing that, but the costs have gone up. One of our main drugs, ketamine, it's already, in the last 6 weeks, it's doubled in price. Okay. Another one of the drugs that we use, xylazine, it's about to become controlled. There's a national problem with that. It's going to double in price. Our costs are going to skyrocket even more. We're going to need some help. We're asking you for that help to buffer that cost more. There's only so much we as veterinarians we can afford to do. We still want to provide the same level of care. We don't want to have to drop the level of care that we're providing. Okay, I'm happy to take any questions.
I'll close by saying we have these 4 clinics quarterly, but also I get calls weekly. Someone can't afford to get their dog or cat spayed or neutered, rabies shot. We go ahead and give them vouchers. We don't make them wait, because the way I look at it, it's a service to the community. Everybody. It helps everyone if we get this done. So we're not going to turn anybody away that doesn't have the means to do that. Thank y'all for y'all's time and consideration.
Thank you. When is the next SNPs event?
It's in November.
I think it's November the 17th.
Yes.
I'm not positive. It was based on the fairground availability.
Yeah,
Where's the office that someone can just come and possibly?
The Lamar County Humane Association office in the shelter, or typically people get I have no idea where people get my number, but I've gotten 2 calls today for SNP. They just call my cell phone.
All right.
We don't turn anybody away, though. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Paris Breakfast Optimist Club.
Good evening. I'm Sabre Vaughn, the Executive Director, and I want to say, first off, I want to thank you for having me here tonight. I appreciate the past support that you've given us. And most of the time I come in here and say, we like the money that you give us because we need to improve our property, and we do. We still need to rebuild 2 fields. That place was started in the 1970s. We are needing to still put up bleacher covers. We still have 2/3 of our parking lot that's gravel. We like to have a nice facility for our kids, but also because we actually go to Dixie Youth Baseball, we bid to get tournaments from postseason out of town. They come into Paris, they stay in hotel rooms and all that. So we like to do that. We like to help our community that way. But again, our property was built in the 1970s. So this past year, we spent $3,000 to buy some material to redo a fence. And then in February, all of a sudden, we had an $11,000 water bill. So then we had to go look for a water break. Obviously, the city helped us out as much as they could, but to date, our water bill is $8,500 over what it would normally be in a year. So actually, the $11,000 that you gave us last year bought $3,000 worth of fence and paid the water bill. So again, we still need to work on improvements. We still have an aging facility. And just to tell you again what we do, our main program is the recreational baseball program that we have out at Woodall Field. And this past spring, we served 650 players. About 8% of our players are girls. In the spring, we also partner with the Down Syndrome Society to do buddy baseballs. And so we had about 40 players with intellectual and physical disabilities, which was, by the way, put in the Dixie Youth Baseball Program rule book because it started in Paris, Texas, as that partnership. And then we're in the middle of fall ball right now. We have 300 kids playing fall ball. So that's what we do. We say that baseball's a game, it's fun, we want the kids to have fun. It's a recreational program. It's not travel ball. If we do charge a fee, it helps cover our umpires and our scorekeepers and those kind of things that we provide. However, we don't turn kids away. We had about 30 kids in the spring that we either reduced or gave free registration to, because we're going to make sure every kid gets to play. In fact, we had one mom say she couldn't even, was worried about being able to buy the uniform, and we just called one of the sporting goods stores and said, this mom's going to come in and just send us the bill. So we're going to make sure that every kid that wants to play baseball gets to play. And so our successes this past year, we had a 6U team that won the Sportsmanship Award in Bonham and at the district tournament, and that's one of the big ones for us because we love it, especially when our 5- and 6-year-olds are recognized for being good sports. The second one, we had a 6U team that is the state 6U Classic champion. Our 7U team is the state 7U champion. Our 8U team is the state champion and also won the World Series 2 years in a row now. Same kids, they were 7U last year. And then our 14U, even our older players, they were runners-up for their state tournament. So we are getting good success. And I know that's all well and good, but the story that touches me the most and tells why our story, what we do is important, is I got a phone call from one of the counselors at one of the school districts. And she said, we've got 2 brothers, and they've never played before. They were 11 and 12. Grandmother was having to raise them. And they said, we thought about y'all, and we think that baseball is going to be so good for them. They need the structure. They need, the role models. And so we said, yes, come on. We will dig in our lost and found. We will give you whatever the kids need. We're going to comp your registration and all that. So to me, that was just a testament of, in the community, how strong our program is for developing kids. So that's really what we're here tonight asking for your support for.
Any questions?
How often do you guys pay a water bill?
It's monthly.
Month, okay. Thank you.
Salvation Army of Paris.
Hi, guys.
Howdy.
Hope y'all are having a good night. I am Leah Metters with the Salvation Army. I'm a Regional Resource Development Director, and with me I have Lieutenant Paul Chisholm and Major Jennifer Chisholm, and they are the new Salvation Army officers of Paris, and we are so excited to have them. Give a girl 2 to 3 minutes. That's a hard thing to do, but I'm going to do the best I can. So just to kind of give you a little bit of background on the Salvation Army, just so you can see the heart of what we do. The Salvation Army, and most of you probably already know this, started with William Booth. He would preach from the pulpit, and he would see people come in off the streets into the church who were broken, tired, hurting, and he would watch them walk in, and they would want to sit down in the church, but the people in the church wouldn't move for them. So they would turn around and go right back out the door that they came in. And standing from the pulpit, he looked at these people and thought, that is not the ministry. That is not what we are here to do. So he left his pulpit and took his ministry to the streets to meet people in their own time of need, those who were hurting and hungry and broken and friendless. And he knew that if you could feed the body, you would be able to get to the heart and the mind of that person to be able to change their circumstances. So that is the very thing that we are here to ask you for today, is we are asking for $15,000 for our community feeding program. We are so excited because I don't know if any of you were able to, I know some of you were, but on August 30th, we opened up our emergency shelter. Thank you to a wonderful partnership with United Way. We are so excited to be able to have an emergency shelter here in Paris, Texas with the Salvation Army so that we will be able to feed those that come to us and help them get to that next place in their life. So we're excited about that. We've got a little card, and Lieutenant was going to pass this out if that's okay to you. It tells you our services provided, volunteer opportunities, ways you can assist the Salvation Army. But the thing I love the most is on the front, it shows you last year through our community feeding program, we served 6,604 individuals. We were able to provide 742 families and individuals with food boxes. And with the way things are going now, that was a Monday through Friday. We are now serving 7 days a week our community in the evenings and lunch Tuesday and Thursday. We're really excited about that. So just to take you back to the Salvation Army in the beginning, William Booth, and how we carry out that mission today, I just wanted to leave you with something that he said that was inspirational, and our words to you from him are, while women weep as they do now, I'll fight. While children go hungry as they do now, I'll fight. While men go to prison in and out, I'll fight. While there's a drunkard left, while there's a poor lost girl upon the streets, while there's one soul without the light of God, I will fight. I'll fight to the very end. We give you our commitment that we will continue to fight for our community. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. United Way?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Jenny Wilson. I'm the Executive Director at the United Way of Lamar County. And I, too, want to thank you for the funding that you've given us for the past couple years for our rent and utility assistance program. We're here again tonight to ask for $15,000 again for the rent and utility assistance program. I want to tell you a little bit about how that program works. If you're applying for either rent or utility assistance, you either need to have young children in the house under the age of 18, be over the age of 60, or be experiencing an immediate medical crisis. If you receive a rental assistance from us, that's a one-time. So since this program began in March of 2020, we have helped 388 unduplicated families either stay in their home and not be evicted, or we're seeing even more now that we are taking out of homelessness, and we're actually paying for their first month's rent and deposit. We had a family last week that we were able to put into an apartment, and they were living in their minivan. Granddad, grandma, 2 adult daughters and 2 children, age 1 and 2. And so that program is very, very important to us. It's also very expensive. So we budget $100,000 for that the past 2 years, and once again, we think we're going to go over budget on that. But we just can't turn these families away, and we don't want to see them end up in homelessness. With utility assistance, same guidelines, although we will help more than once. We help once every 12 months, but it cannot exceed $500 over a 3-year period. Since we started that program, we've helped 1,090 families pay their utility bills. When you break that down with just City of Paris water bills, we've helped 200 families pay their water bills, often reconnecting service, and have actually paid $33,000 to the City of Paris for those water bills. But we feel like it's much more than just a convenience, right? We know that it impacts children's education, and we know it impacts adults' ability to go to work. It's very hard to go to school or to work if you cannot shower or brush your teeth or wash your clothes. And so we know that it's, again, not just convenience, it's important to the community that people can live with running water and electricity and AC and heat and remain in their homes. So I just want to thank you again so much. And does anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. The Children's Advocacy Center, is anyone here for the Children's Advocacy Center? Okay.
Mayor, members of council again, I think before we move on, if we could just take a minute and acknowledge the people that are here that are really serving the community every day, kind of behind the scenes. I'd like to thank them for being here and give them a round of applause. Before we move forward, there are really 2 points of discussion that the council will need to address, and the first one being whether to determine the organizations that are considered ineligible, and then the second would be to whether to include the organization that was not here tonight. The policy does not mandate that they be here for a presentation, although the council did make that statement. So it's your decision to either uphold the policy and make it a recommendation, or to mandate it. Those are the 2 things that you would need to address before moving forward.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the everyone on the list, although that date was not met.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
And then the second would be to whether or not to include the organization that was not here this evening.
Make the motion that we include the organization that was not here represented today.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Okay, in terms of the recusal question, and I apologize for not having that answer for you the moment it was asked. Councilmember Kessel, to your question, if you choose one of those options, what we can do, and I believe he's already done, that Mr. Vine has already done calculations for those, that what we can do is move on to a vote on each individual grant, and what you would do is recuse yourself from voting on that organization. But the numbers have already been done. So if you choose to do something other than one of the options that has been proposed to you, and you find yourself in a scoring sheet, you would just not score your organization, and we would go from there, and you wouldn't vote on your organization. For purposes of what we're doing tonight, I think it is, I anticipate we'll be doing one vote after another vote after another vote. I don't think you need to leave the dais. If you'll just announce that you need to recuse yourself from voting on that organization, we'll take note of that, and you won't vote on that organization.
Mr. Paff, or Rob, or Mr. Vine, can you remind me what the budget is? I think is it 125 or did we raise it?
It's 100.
100.
Oh, 100.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Is option D the weighted percentage one? Is that correct?
Page 3, option D, all 13 organizations are considered eligible. All organizations are essentially awarded 64.516% of their initial request.
Yeah. And then that keeps us in, but that's what
Yeah,
we,
and that's,
typically what we've done.
Basically, yes, traditionally.
I'm okay with option D, that gives everybody the same percentage. Obviously, the ask is 155, we've got 100, that puts everybody in the same. Things odd numbers unfortunately, but.
I don't think you need to
I don't
go
think
on
we need to,
research.
Jack. And if that would be that'd be the direction the council like to go, that Rob has already calculated the numbers, so we'd be ready to move on to motions, if that's the direction you want to go. But I discourage discussion. If you choose option D, then we're ready to move on.
Hold on.
basically what we did last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that.
So then what you can do is, we can start at the top of this list. If you're looking at this page, it's got each one, and the option D, someone who's not on the board of the Children's Advocacy Center can.
Can we not, we have to do each one as an individual motion, or can we not?
Make the whole motion.
Can I make one motion and I can
And then they can
increment each one of those? I'm not on any of the boards.
Well, it has already been calculated for you, and you're just doing a pro rata, and you're not favoring your organization over any other, so I would say you could do one motion and one vote. I'm okay with that under
Do I
this
need to say the
circumstance.
different amounts?
No.
Just make the motion for 65%.
I'm gonna make the motion to use option D as presented in the Excel spreadsheet. That is the 64%, is that what you said, Rob?
65, yeah.
64.516%.
64.5, that's equal dispersion through the 13 different organizations.
Second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
That's all we need to do on that.
So move.
Second.
Can I motion to adjourn? One second. We adjourn.
Thank you.